Parshas Tetzaveh. This week's Parsha continues the description of the assembly of the Mishkan, and specifically, the Parsha begins with the description of the making of the Bigdei Kahuna, the priestly vestments. So in chapter 28, verses 1 through 3, the Torah introduces a description of the process of making the Bigdei Kahuna, the making of the priestly vestments. This is Chavches, Pasuk Aleph through Gimel, reads as follows. V'ata, this is Hashem speaking to Moshe, and you, Hakrev elechas Aharon achicha, bring close to you Aaron your brother, ve'es banav ito, and his sons with him, mitoch b'nei Yisrael echanoli, select them from among the children of Israel to serve me. In other words, they have a special responsibility to serve in the Mishkan, and the Kohanim, the priests, would ultimately continue in their special position to serve in the temple and the Beis HaMikdash as well. Aharon, the verse continues, Aharon, Nadav, Avihu, Elazar, Isamar, b'nei Ahron. Aaron and his four sons, Nadav, Avihu, Elazar, and Isamar. Now, here's the main thing. So first of all, Moshe is supposed to get them together. Va'asisa bigdei kodesh la'aharon achicha l'chavod u'lesifaris. And you make sacred vestments for Aaron, your brother, for glory and splendor. That's the purpose of the vestments, glory and splendor. It's right here, black and white. That is the purpose of the vestments. Now, whose glory and splendor? That's a matter of some discussion. The Ramban quotes two opinions. One of them is that it's for the glory and splendor of the Kohen Hagadol, the high priest, that he should receive appropriate kavod, appropriate honor and reverence from those who come to the Beis HaMikdash and anybody who sees him. And according to the second opinion, it's for the honor and splendor of the divine presence. Okay, but we know one thing, that the purpose, according to this verse, the purpose of the Bigdei Kahuna, of the priestly vestments, is l'chavod u'lesifaris, for glory and splendor. Okay. Next verse, Gimel. Now, Moshe himself is not actually going to be the tailor, but rather there are several people involved, men and women, say Chazal, who have the talent to produce these garments, these vestments. So, Kol Chachmei Leib, Hashem Elesiv Rachachma. So you speak, meaning Moshe, you speak to the people who are going to do the work, all of the wise people or the talented people in who HaKadosh Baruch Hu has filled with his talent. V'asuas bigdei Aharon, and they will make the vestments, the special uniform of Aharon. Now, we already said what it was for, right? It was l'chavod u'lesifaris, for glory and for splendor. But wait a second, that's not how this verse ends. Different purpose. It says l'kadsho l'chanoli, to dedicate him to serve me. So which is it? Is it l'chavod u'lesifaris? Is it for glory and splendor? Or is it l'kadsho l'chanoli, to dedicate him, to sanctify him, to make him designated for a specific purpose of service of Hashem, to serve Hashem? Which is it? This apparently is contradictory. So Chaim Keller in his Sefer, in his Sefer Chidekel, quotes the Telzer Rosh Shiva Reb Yosef Leib Bloch, and he says the purpose is l'chavod u'lesifaris. It's for glory and splendor. But to get there, in the Beis HaMikdash, the intention, the kavana, had to be l'kadsho, l'chahano li, to sanctify him. And there's a certain kavana, there's a certain intentionality that must be part of the process on the part of the people who are doing the work. In other words, their principal goal in making these vestments is not l'chavod u'lesifaris, is not for honor or glory and splendor. That's not their goal. Their goal is l'kadsho l'chano li. It's to dedicate this for the supreme effect of dedicating this uniform for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The end result, he says, will be l'chavod u'lesifaris. The end result will be glory and splendor. Now, why not have the people who are making the clothes have in mind kavod and sifaris? And he says that if the people who are making the clothing have in mind this glory and splendor, then they would risk losing focus on the sanctity, and it would become, not in his words, but in our words, it would become a matter of style or fashion. It would be what's most impressive. And what the Torah is telling us is forget about doing things so that they will be most impressive. If you do them for the substantive effect, they will memela, they will inevitably result in kavod and tiferes. This is consistent with the notion of kol haboreach, kol rodef achar kavod, hakavod boreach mimenu. Anybody who runs after kavod, kavod flees from him. And there's another negative association with kavod in Pirkei Avos, hakina v'taiva v'kavod motzina sa'adam min ha'olam. Jealousy, lust, and honor remove a person from this world. And the rabbis explained that when it says honor, it means the pursuit of honor. In other words, honor, glory, if you will, is a kind of an anomaly in that if one seeks honor, if one runs after honor, you don't get it. Why? Because honor is the consequence of doing things that have profound significance. So, en kavod ala Torah. Torah has profound significance. The mikdash, the mishkan, the temple, the locus of God's sanctity, that has kavod. The external trappings, to the extent that they facilitate a reverence, that works. That's kavod. But if someone wears the trappings in place of developing the substance, then that person runs the risk of being a laughingstock of, if you will, not quite, but the parable of the emperor's new clothes. In other words, the pursuit of honor in itself, as opposed to honor as a consequence of substantive pursuit, the pursuit of honor in itself ends up being vanity. And Rabbi Soloveichik, my Rabbi, explains that honor is very important. It's important for a human being. It's important for a human being to be honored. He says it's so important, it's like oxygen, that a person should feel that he is deemed to be, to have self-worth in and of himself because he's a creature of God. But if one pursues his own honor at the expense of the honor of others, then he loses his honor. Then he sees that what he's going for is the externalities, the trappings, and not the essential qualities of accomplishment and closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The end result of a life, or in our Parsha, of the making of the clothing, with a mindfulness of dedication to the service of God, the end result is honor. The end result is glory. And if one is mindful of his essential purpose, the kavod will come. But we're not doing it for the kavod. We're doing it because we hope to fulfill Ritzon Habore, to fulfill the will of God. Chazal also say, Ezahu mechubad, hamachabed es habrios. Who is one who is truly honored? He who honors others. So is honor good or is honor bad? Well, as we've seen, if we are mindful of the ultimate goal being to honor Hashem, honor Hashem's creations, honor other people who are created in the image of God, then we will be honored. Memela. Inevitably, it will flow. If we honor others, we are honored. If we chase honor for ourselves, it runs from us. We want the essential substance of accomplishment, not simply the trappings and appearance of accomplishment. So the people who made the Big Day Kahuna, they had in mind the substance of the connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the kedusha, the appropriate vestments for the individuals who are going to be the spiritual leaders of the Jews and the ones who are going to serve the Almighty in the mikdash, in the sanctuary. The result of that is kavod and sifaris. The result of that is glory and splendor to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We do our part. The result is glory and splendor. Have a good Shabbos.